What pickup lines have actually worked on you? I saw this girl going through Tinder on her phone. I said, "I've got a tip for your Tinder." And when she asked what it was, I said, "Delete it and go out with me." We went on a couple of dates. Not me, but I saw my roommate get laid once by saying, "So do you have a bed?" She said, "Yeah, you want to see it." They disappeared and met us later at a different place. I tried a few times, never worked out. In the middle of a playful conversation, she says to me, "What are you going to do about it? So do you want to eat food?" You know, the code. Ex-girlfriend gave me a pair of button-fly jeans. While sitting on a porch with a bunch of people, she asks me how I like them. I say they fit well, but button-fly is mildly annoying. She says, "Button-fly is sexy." I joke, "I'm taking a break from being sexy." Attractive girl I've never met says, "You're not doing a very good job." Cue a couple days later, she's asking me to pinch her nipples as hard as I can while we're banging. I grew to love that pair of jeans. I didn't personally use this, because I don't have brass balls, but saw it with my own eyes when my brother asked some woman he'd never met before if she wanted to get high and fuck. Simple question, he got a simple yes to. This happened yesterday. This guy who clearly likes me has been hitting on me for weeks, was like, "Hey, you need to hold this," as he had his hand curled in a fist, hiding whatever would be in his hand. He then grabs my hand to put whatever it is in my hand, but just ends up uncurling his fist and interlocking his fingers with mine. I died laughing. It was quite charming. Went to a party, had my top couple buttons undone. Girl came over and unbuttoned one more and said she was trying to help me get laid. Happy I took up on that hint. Edit. I would also like to add that as I was unwrapping a condom, the fire alarm went off in my building, so I had to evacuate and didn't end up actually getting it on until like 7 in the morning. What hint? The hint that she was the girl she was trying to help me get laid with. I was on a road trip through California with a buddy of mine a few years back. When we reached San Diego, the first thing we did was checking into our hotel. Just as I got out of the car, I met a group of girls who did bachelorette dares. One of the bridesmaids approached me and asked if I had a condom. I reacted surprisingly witty and responded, "Sure I do, but shouldn't we at least have a drink first or something?" She looked at me with her eyes wide open, blushed a little, started to laugh, and rushed back to her girls, asking, "Did you hear what that guy over there said?" pointing at me. Turns out, there was a party on the hotel's rooftop terrace that night, and the girls were staying there as well. A few of them were also attending the party, so I took my chances, approached her and said so. "How about that drink now?" We then proceeded to have a few cocktails at the bar, and the rest is history. God, I love San Diego. I remember a girl in college at a party asked if I wanted to play Pearl Harbor. I said it depends on what it was. You be Pearl Harbor, I'll be a kamikaze and blow the hell out of you. So that, on top of her being easy, worked on me. The historical analogy was a nice touch. A few years back, I gave a guy I had a crush on, but had never actually spoken, to a Valentine's Day card, saying I wanted him to choke me the way the Falcons had choked in the Super Bowl against the Patriots. We have a cat together now, so that's about as good an outcome as you can hope for. Edit. I survived because when he chokes me, it's less Falcons in the Super Bowl and more Georgia Bulldogs every year in the most important game of the season. Reminds me of a time when I was in high school. This girl that I had been crushing on for months agreed to come over and watch a movie at my house. We were laying on the couch together and she says, "My fingers are cold." I, in a surprising move of not being a completely clueless idiot, picked up on it right away and held her hand while we finished the movie. We dated for about 6 months before she had to move away. Good times. I literally bulldozed my way into my fiance's life. In high school, we had a goofy small friend group that we shared, and instead of talking to him like a normal human being, I straight up rush-tackled him in the hall one day because that's clearly the best way to get a man's attention. We've been together 6.5 years, and we're planning our wedding for this time next year. Edit. Would not recommend this as a means of showing interest in someone. I was significantly smaller than him, but what I lack in size I make up for in stupidity. Didn't do much damage, luckily. A cute 20-year-old walked into the music store I worked at in the late 80s, chewing on a straw. I'm normally shy, but pulled it out of his mouth and said, "May I help you?" He left his number, and let's split a bottle of champagne on the receipt. I called. After marriage and 2 kids in 21 years, he died. I wish I had that straw. I have bright blue eyes that apparently look great if I wear a blue. So, out in a blue shirt, a girl came up and said, "Oh my god, your eyes are beautiful," having just painted my room the same color blue as my shirt. I replied, "You should see how good they look in my bedroom." I guess both of our pickup lines worked, even if mine was totally unintentional. While avoiding a drunk girl at a Halloween party who was stalking me, I ducked behind a group of girls and asked one if she would pretend to be my girlfriend, so this other girl would leave me alone. Someone walked up and handcuffed us together with fake handcuffs, and we started dating. Now we're married. They never gave you the keys, huh? I was chatting to a girl in the bar at uni. She was wearing very tight skinny jeans. I asked her, how do you get into those? She smirked and said buying me another drink would be a good start. Much fun ensued. Places hand on shoulder. Hey, instructions unclear. Hand stuck to shoulder. Send help. Since several comments are also mentioning successful pickup lines we've used on other people, a girl I'd been friends with for a while was likely fretting because she'd been casually dating a guy another town over for a few weeks, and she was supposed to drive down to see him that weekend, but she'd decided she didn't really want to date him anymore and wanted an excuse not to make the trip, while she decided how to break up with him. I said, that's easy. Just tell him you're going on a date with me instead. Why would I do that? Because hopefully you're going on a date with me instead. Been 20 years as of last May. Can I get your number so I can call and ask you out on a date? Worked. I was at a frat party and the guy was one of those attractive but nobody ever notices kind of guys. He'd been super nice to me, and I literally remember thinking that he was so kind and polite that it was worth a shot. We went on a couple of dates. Things fizzled out after that, but I remember it really fondly. The saddest end to that story was one of our dates was going to a deployment going away party for a friend, or possibly brother, cousin of his. The friend proposed to his girlfriend at the party. She said yes. Found out a few months later he was killed during his deployment. My now boyfriend posted a photo of himself in a suit in his Instagram story, referencing a wedding he went to. I slid into his DMs saying, I have a few weddings I need a date for, he responded, and we've been together ever since. Side note, we didn't know each other before either. I was at a dive bar wearing a shirt with Link, Legend of Zelda, on it in an action pose. There was a small dance floor at the bar, but I had absolutely zero interest in dancing. I was mostly at the bar to play pool with my friends and polish off a picture or two. I lost a game, so I was standing off to the side, watching my buddies play their game and glancing around this shitty dive bar as I was people watching. A girl approached me, looked towards the dance floor and said, "It's dangerous to go alone. Take this," and held out her hand. Her pickup line definitely worked. One time, a girl hit me with a string of communist-themed pickup lines. That made me laugh. I honestly feel like the purpose of pickup lines is just to show you have a sense of humor. What's a pretty girl like you got to cry about? I was at a bar, got into a fight with my sister, and she left me there. I was outside, crying on the curb, and he hit me with that. That night, we slept together. When I woke up, we didn't know each other's name. 9 years later, we're husband and wife. Even today, when I cry about something, he will say, "Oh, looks like I'm getting laid tonight." It wasn't so much a pickup line as an innocent statement of fact by my then girlfriend. I let one rip on the grassy knoll of our apartment complex. Everyone else who was sitting within 20 feet of me got all throw up and nauseated, and appropriately so, might I add. Meanwhile, my girlfriend, who was just casually lying next to me studying her stats, said, "You smell like Yellowstone." I am so sorry. I didn't mean to let that out. No, I love Yellowstone. Almost proposed then and there. Do you like peanut butter? Then, regardless of the answer, wanna f***? Granted. I used this on my wife after we'd been married for several years, but still, it worked. Netflix and chill. We didn't end up having sex that night, but he got my number, and we've been together for 4 years now. A guy passed me a note, middle school style, with boxes. Yes, no, maybe. To check, asking if I'd go out with him. Had never spoken before that day. Our 7-year wedding anniversary is in 2 days. In college in the 80s, a mildly buzzed girlfriend of mine met me at the keg. We were just talking when she said, out of nowhere, "We're buddies, right?" I was amused and nodded. She added, "Because friends are friends, but buddies fuck," and stared at me. So yeah, we were buddies. Where do I know you from? I swear we've met before. It's a great icebreaker, even if we've never met. We both go back through our histories to try and find out where we met. Before you know it, you're having a solid conversation and finding out a lot of stuff about each other. Worked pretty well for me in college. I used this one on my girlfriend of now 2.5 years. Obviously it worked. Did you know it is scientifically proven that the girl reading this is the cutest girl in the world? I can prove it. She messaged back and said, "How can you prove it?" And I sent her a solid blue pie chart showing how cute you are with a blue key that said Hella. She laughed and thought it was just cute enough to bother talking to me. Then I abducted her and stuffed her in the trunk, and here we are. That last part is not true. Allegedly. Use this one on my college campus. Hello, miss. Quick question for a survey. If a guy was interested in you, do you prefer that he walk straight up to you and introduce himself, or should he be more indirect about it? The usual answer is, I want him to walk right up to me and tell me, to which I can respond in that case. Hi, I'm Cody Dealish. What's your name? Usually gets a laugh and gets things rolling. I was the driver for a uni, carpool, and the chick that was the last drop off once said, if you can find someplace, I'll give you a job. I did. We've been together for 21 years now, married for 16 and have a 7-year-old. Best day moment of my life, because it caught me off guard and was really unexpected. Oh, I know her. Everyone told me I had to see the new girl at work, and when I did, I blurted the above out. It offended her that I would downplay meeting her so much that she followed me all day and eventually decided to get back at me by sitting in my lap. We dated for about a year. The lesson of the story is women are super duper fucking weird. Thank you for watching. Subscribe to the channel.